Okay, it's time for an exercise. Um, in this case, let's build a worm. I realize how simple that is, but I have worms here. We have a picture of a worm here. So if I save this and I were to bring this in as a, my downloads are here. Let's open that with preview, and we have ourselves a worm. And I'm going to actually just move this over so we can kind of see the worm. Anyway, so now we're going to work in this space right here. As you can see, I haven't changed this yet. I can actually press this button on the side here, human IK, and it gets rid of that. These buttons up here also show different layouts that you can have on the side. And if you click it again, it'll delete them. So we'll get rid of that for now, and we'll go back to it when I need to show you what that is. So we know how to import a scene or import a OBJ. We also can create a polygon like this. We can go into this view over here, and we can look at our worm and say, well, do we want to build it on this is the front, this is the top, and this is the side. Let's build it on the side. Let's just assume it's kind of like this S-curved wormy that we're going to make, and it's going to be quite, flat on one side. Anyway, so let's go here, and we will select the vertex, and we will pull it down and up. Again, I like working quite freehand. We also know how to do F8, which will put us back into object mode, and with that we can create some edge loops. So let's put in an edge loop like here, 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 and here. Maybe even some more in the ends. Now we'll right click, we'll grab the vertice, and we will move this vertice. Let's try this again. Move this vertice over here. And as you can see, it's pointing the other direction. So let's press my E key, which rotates things. Again, it rotates things. This will be a section of it. Now we obviously need to start adding more geometry. That takes us to there. So let's press the G key in this case, which brings me back to this tool again, and it allows me to bring in some more. Press the Q. So let's just lower all of these down and rotate them over here. And I'm going to scale it a little bit here, scale it a little bit here. So there's the start of our worm. Now let's go to the perspective view where we have, this is what we've got. So it is very linear. Let's try and make it a little more interesting. Maybe we can select some of them, but let's try and figure out what's what here. Let's go into here, and we'll go select the edge. Sorry, I'm going to move it in this axis a little bit. And this one will move it back the other direction. Something like that. So you can see that we just have a little bit of a wavy curve now. At least there's something to this guy. A little more interesting than just completely straight. There we go. Kind of moves around. In fact, let's put him on an angle like that. Yeah, it's not perfectly straight. Now, smooth this guy out. He looks like that. shade him, he looks like this. So that's not exactly the same right now. So let's try and go into this view again, and we will try and make him a little thicker in certain spots. Now, this is a different edge. It's got more going on there. We've got some curvy bits down there. So I think we need to start adding in some more points. But he is looking also extremely perfectly round, which I am not sure I want that. Technically, because these are squares, you'll see if you go up close to this that this isn't round here. It's got this kind of square quality to it where these edges are actually sharper than I would like. Like if I were to smooth this down, for example, let's just bring this back to the polygon mode. Let's press F8. Let's smooth it down. And what do we got here? Mesh, smooth. And then we take these divisions up to, say, 8. 8. Yes. So I was thinking, 8 is a huge subdivision level. Wait till you see this thing. Look at that. So it is unbelievably dense. If I were to zoom into this, you'll see how dense that is. So it's too much. Can't even see what's going on, frankly. So let's just put it at 4. You can see, potentially anyway, that it's kind of perfect, and it's almost too perfect. I kind of want it to be, flatter in some areas and rounder in some other areas. So what I want to do is I want to undo this. So I'll do my Command Z, and I will go to a 1 default level. I will undo the whole thing. There we go. And I'm going to add in this time some vertices this direction. So I'm going to press my recent commands and see what is available. There's the split edge ring tool, which is actually probably the same name as insert edge loop tool. So for some reason they've named it differently in their code. But anyway, insert edge tool, adding in one in there, and it goes all the way around. So let's just leave that. That's pretty good. But now when I do this, it's definitely going to look wonky. So it's definitely going to be flatter at the top. But it gives me more options. So what I want to do is I want to select these guys as a bunch, as in groups like this, like groups like that. I want to start rounding this out. Remember, our worm technically could have a flat bottom here, and we could actually have it standing like a snake if we wanted it to. Now the reason why I'm doing this in advance is because I want to be able to put more and more geometry in there on this way, like more topography this way, and I don't want to have to be moving around multiple points. Right now it's this very, very simple model, so we can easily move these points around while it's still simple. All right, so there we go. paste. Let's just take these guys and bring them down. There's our guy. Looking a little bit more organic. So still, it's not the same shape by any means. If we were to go to this guy and say, is it the same? No, let's try and make it closer. Grab the vertex, try and make it closer by doing this. And now I'm going to start adding in tools in the other category where I grab the mesh tool, make cut. No, sorry, I'll do the edge loop tool still. There we go. So I need to spread this around a bit more, make this more interesting. I need to make this more interesting. This has got a lot more going on up there. There's a lot of bumpiness down here. There's also this bump right here and here. So that's approximately here, and one in the middle, and right here. So if I just concentrate on those, that means I'm going to take these and look all the way around, make sure I'm grabbing it all. I'm going to scale them up the top. Scale them up, scale them up, and over top. So you can see now we're starting to play with tensions, the tension of this. So the worm is a great little starter for an organic model. Here we go. All right. Now, at this point, you can basically see what I'm doing. So I'm going to continue, and I'm going to build this myself, and I'm going to put more and more detail in there. And when it's done, it'll hopefully start looking like a worm. So this is not bad, but let's just try and be a little more accurate to what we have here, and I'll speed things up and make it all happen like that. And now we have the finished product. As you can see, it's fairly well matched up. You can also see that it's got a little bit more topology that we've added in with that tool, with the mesh tools, inserting edge loops. And we now need to save it out. So we'll just file export selection as an OBJ. We'll call it worm1 and export that selection. Yes, I've already saved it out once. This is what it looks like, by the way, without number 3 pressed, without the smoothing function pressed. And that gives us our default OBJ. Anyway, that's where we'll start next class. There's a real problem with this, and that is the fact that it is a deformed object already, not an animatable object. I will explain what that is next class.